This is about defending democracy. This is no longer Democrats versus Republicans. What do you want your kids to believe in? There must be give and take.
This is White Flag with Joe Walsh.
The jig is up. I always loved that phrase, but it's true when applied to October 7th. October 7th seems so long ago now. Imagine how not long ago it seems to the families who lost loved ones on October 7th, to the families who still have loved ones being held hostage. But October 7th revealed so much and exposed so much. And we've talked at length about how the Hamas terrorist attack on October 7th in these past 3 to 4 months revealed the huge anti-Semitism on the left. That's always been there. But that the mainstream media, generally leaning left of center, has never highlighted it enough. October 7th exposed it. October 7th exposed and revealed the hypocrisy in the way college campuses, when it comes to free speech, favor certain groups, protect certain groups on campuses when it comes to speech. Jews were not protected. I don't believe any students should be protected from speech, but October 7th revealed the hypocrisy in how free speech is handled on our college campuses. October 7th and these past 3 to 4 months have revealed something else that those of us who've paid attention to Gaza and Israel and the Middle East have always known, but most people haven't, and the media has purposely ignored. That the United Nations, specifically the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, the UN agency that has been in charge in Gaza for caring for the refugees in Gaza, the Palestinian people in Gaza, from the moment Israel left in 2007. These past 3 to 4 months have exposed and revealed the truth that UNRWA, this United Nations relief organization, has been aiding and abetting Hamas terrorists from the very beginning. What an ugly, ugly truth. But how ugly that it's always been true and people have either ignored it or not want to see it. Came out this past week, right? Israel intelligence and American intelligence has confirmed that UN employees with UNRWA participated in the October 7th terrorist attack. Think about that, right? It's confirmed that UNRWA employees, UN employees, participated in the October 7th terror attack. Now, that's grabbed all the headlines. And the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal put out an expose a day or two ago exposing the more than a dozen UNRWA employees who participated in the terror attack. And there's a lot of shock around the world that the UN was doing this. Shouldn't be any shock. And not just a dozen UNRWA employees. Thousands of the 20-some thousand UNRWA employees. What an outlandish number that is. Who are, again, this is the agency charged with specifically working with the Palestinian people in Gaza and the West Bank, Judea and Samaria. That many employees. Not only did at least a dozen participate in the attack, but a few thousand over the most recent years have been actively working with Hamas, aiding and abetting Islamic terrorists. Most horrifically, UNRWA is the agency charged with educating Palestinian children in Gaza and the West Bank. And today on Capitol Hill, there'll be a hearing that will show how odious and ugly and anti-Israel these educational materials are that UNRWA has used. The things they teach and they've taught Palestinian children over the years. They've basically taught, through all their educational materials, Palestinian children to become terrorists, to become martyrs. They've glorified terror attacks against Jews, against Israelis. The United Nations Relief Agency has teaches Palestinian children to hate Israelis and to kill Israelis. I want to say that again. Since the beginning, since UNRWA's been on the ground in Gaza, it has been the organization teaching, educating Palestinian children. And from the beginning, UNRWA has taught Palestinian children, the UN has taught Palestinian children to hate and to kill Israelis. UNRWA has taught Palestinian children to revere and become martyrs, terrorists. It is littered throughout their educational materials. Again, there'll be an important hearing on Capitol Hill today exposing a lot of this. None of this is a surprise to those of us who've known, who've followed. The UN agency in charge of caring for the Palestinian people in Gaza has been working over the years arm in arm with Hamas. UNRWA should be disbanded immediately. Not another dime, and now we're up to 13 some countries, including the United States, that have suspended aid to UNRWA. That's not good enough. No temporary pauses, no temporary suspensions in aid. UNRWA, this UN agency, is a terrorist organization. They've been working with and supporting Islamist terrorists for years. This United Nations agency, it should be disbanded immediately. And I think that the United States should cease all United Nations funding. Please pay attention. Pay attention to this shit that's been exposed, that's been going on for years. I'm Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh whiteflag@gmail.com. Joe Walsh whiteflag, one word, Joe Walsh whiteflag@gmail.com. Thanks. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow White Flag with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been White Flag with Joe Walsh.